Welcome back to Old Chess Battle Advanced, the pay-to-win version of chess. Today I'm going to be talking about the Fireball. So you can see I just have a classic chess army right now, and you can see all the movesets. But, of course, we're going to be looking at the Fireball's moveset, which is very different. It's not a normal attack. It's range destroy target, vanishes after attacking, immune to poison petrify, destroyed by freeze. The extra tiers of Fireball increases attack range, just gets 4 attack squares, and on some of the diagonals. This one gets it on some of the sides, and this one gives it some teleports to knights, but only from the starting position. Now, when it comes to evaluating Fireball, the problem is if I put this in a normal chess army replacing some pawns, there's an obvious issue, which is that classic chess pieces work really bad. Like, this bishop is now stuck because they've got these immobile pieces in front. However, do note the very impressive attack range. We call this the Firewall for obvious reasons. Moreover, the Firewall actually has this property that's kind of unique to the Firewall, which is that it's so intimidatingly large, the amount of board control it has. For example, like in here, I've given the opponent just a regular cost 3 piece to Samurai, and it can't even advance. Like, it's pretty special that all the opponent's minions are stuck on the first 2 rows effectively for them, because if they do this, then the Fireball is up trading. Although, of course, the result is that after things get traded, the opponent now has opportunities to start ignoring fireballs. So the board control pressure is powerful, but it can fall by endgame. Like, especially in endgame, when a lone fireball is at its most ignorable. Now, before I build a fireball army, like base fireball army, I have to point out the elephant in the room that any any player who has played this game, like even to rank 2000, which is not even a lot, knows at this point, and you should know at this point, like just by looking at Fireball's upgrades. Fireball Plus is overwhelmingly better than the other counterparts, although the fact that none of them are past 50% win rate is surprising a little bit. The Fireball Plus is also the most used one. Now, Plus I would say is not that bad, but because of nuances, sucks for reasons that are not really its fault. So if you said Fireball Plus and Plus are the best tiers, you get some points for that as well. So even though I'll be playing with a Fireball base army just for demonstration and novelty, it's like you should just use Fireball Plus all the time. We're just doing just the base version just to show it off. So one of the interactions with Fireball that is very important is this wind ability. Maybe we should just like put it in there. It's not a whole lot of units, but we can put in units like the Harpy, which can push a Fireball, as well as these that can push a Fireball. And if I can show this off, maybe we just put it there. So what we can do then is throw Fireballs, pushing them 3, and like that also does things to its immobility, right? Because it's no longer immobile. If you have pushers, or better, would be to push these. And with the Fireball is also basically pinning that minion, whatever that would be, to that champion behind. Now this does have flaws. Like, if this is a minion that happens to be able to attack this, especially if it doesn't also die on attack, it's a 2-for-1 trade. Like, we would be forced to sacrifice this Fireball too. And so, like, this is why you're never going to see this type of army in a game, because it's too inconsistent. But I hope to have some fun with it anyway. So over here, we probably can't afford to use Fireballs, and we're just going to do the classic Chastity Cage. Also get rid of these and these, although this one, maybe we should put in a Spearman. This is a unit that has the same attack range as Fireball, but it can actually move. Of course, it doesn't like die on attack, but it costs 3 more because of that. So it's a nice like comparison unit that you could maybe put in there, and I could put in a Drake here too. That one has some teleports that could get it near the action. Let's put in a Demon, which is like a Knight and a Rook combo, but it's a short range Rook, and then we have 11 points left to put something here. Wow, 11 cost units are not very impressive. I'll give it a Warrior plus. I haven't used that unit in a very, very long time because it's not that great. But okay, let's go. All right, unbelievably, I've managed to get into a game. So, some private account, whatever. So, this spot is being hit, but by a nulling effect, so it's not really that relevant. And the opponent's minions are also not very much, although, opponent could move Ranger here. Okay, anyway. This shouldn't really matter which one I put up, because, like, I'm just gonna do this, and that's already an uptrade. That Militia is on death, lose 5 morale, so it's pretty good. Okay, so here's maybe more interesting, because I could just fire again. Now, this thing is funny. This thing is enchanted, which is immune to melee, but it's not immune to magic, and that's incredible. It's an incredible uptrade if I can manage it. So it moves out of the way, but this is This freaking 25 out and chess battle advanced. To be honest, another reason this type of army isn't quite seen very often is not only is it inconsistent in that the opponent could nuance you with some nonsense units, but it also doesn't have as good amount of payoffs for being able to clear the board on the top right. Yes, there happens to be a king in the top right in this scenario that I'm doing, but even if you do trade 4 for 4, like these air elementals are too slow to get to the top right in any like way. I did try to add some mobility champions, but the types of armies that mass trade into a corner often has a lot more promoters and a lot more long range units, while this is just a gimmick. So let's make a fireball plus army now. So I usually never point this out because this army profile is it's like one of the dumbest features that these numbers are like meaningless for any help, but it shows the attack range of your army and you can just see the satisfaction when the two fireballs like this. Like if I put the fireballs in the middle, they also control a lot of squares, but there's some overlap. This one has no overlap in the squares. Of course, I can't save a blank army because the game sucks. So let's just put in some crap to demonstrate that these fireballs, like basically like so much of the center is controlled and it just like it looks satisfying. It's just like great to have. I used to put this in a lot of my armies. I really did, and it's not as popular anymore because like turns out like sometimes having tradable minions is important and there's very few that you have access to. Like right now it's like I only have 6 other minions and then 2 of them have to be king defense, so weirdly enough this has fallen out of popularity, but still, honestly Fireball Plus is one of my favorite units in the game, even despite all the nuanced nonsense that it has. Honestly, even having 1 fireball is like, it has some king defense, like some things have range 3 attacks, so it can prevent that square. It's also using range to destroy target and not melee, which means that enemy armor pieces, like this haunted armor here, and armor is strong. So with Fireball, it's like actually, in some ways, of course it has some weaknesses, like it doesn't have the side attack unless you upgrade, and that the upgrade's not that great. The fact that it pierces armor, it genuinely is like probably the cheapest unit that counts as armor piercing in this game. And like even though, yeah, I guess there's holes in the defense, this is so good at armor piercing. It's another freaking nuance with the game. In fact, here's a clip of some player complaining about, well, not quite the armor, but also complaining about the area control that it has because, again, that Fireball has an incredible attack range for its low cost. Here's some Ukba replay about the Fireball plus plus. Now, this doesn't like show itself until like somewhere mid-game, but the Fireball plus plus ends up having the zoning capability of perhaps a more expensive champion. Like, in this situation, like, all these squares the black cannot go into. It's almost ridiculous in a way. Like, there's this Lust plus 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 piece, which effectively has less zoning range to the Fireball, despite costing 6 more, which is weird to say.
Hey, Yoko! How am I supposed to stop this fireball from zoning out my army?
Alright, we got in a match. So, okay, pink yellow army, classic. My opponent also has a few pieces that are like medium or long range, so I think that I won't have that much of a problem with these. Oh, here's the big problem. This is the big problem with this build and why people stopped. Like, and this is not even the only nuance. Absolutely disgusting behavior, but the thing is, like, this can hit this fireball, and that's going to, like, after 4 turns, any unit in the mark, what, you didn't, oh my god. Disgusting. It's just gonna relocate. I gotta swap with this, as bad as it looks. And it's probably gonna hit my fireball next, which is also terrible for me. Oh, it didn't even move. Okay. I mean, I guess this one's probably planning on being annoying with this move. Let's get out of the way. But yeah, this is freaking the most nuanced interaction thanks to the spaghetti monster. Yep, that's the move. But fun fact, 4 is higher cost than 3. So I don't care if you want to take this. However, I do have to be aware to not capture with the Soul Keeper because of the troll passive that kills, that would kill the Soul Keeper if I took this way. Okay, it moved there, which is strange. So this is the moment where I do this, swapping the Envy into position, so that will be a threat that you're going to probably want to respond to first. I'm surprised we haven't hit 1 fireball yet. Alright, so this can now go back, but now I'm getting hit this way. So I probably want to do this and then swap downwards if you want to fireball, if you want to thundermark this fireball. Oh, okay. So yet another weakness of fireball is cheap units that can suicide into it. Like this can just go here. It's value 1 and it'll be forced to trade. So let's move this Soul Keeper over here. that will block this location, although it does go away from here, which is not that great for some defensive reasons. Oh, it got marked anyway, so probably swap here. Annoyingly, though, I mean, there's still weaknesses, like it could move here or something, and I probably should have traded this earlier just because the opponent could waste my time with a move about attacking that. Wait, this is literally, I can just take it. Get rid of that Thunder Mage. All right. But this is also why there are certain units that like could attempt to free kill or threaten free kill or like summon new units that would trade. Wow, people give up easily in this game. Might as well give you a history of nuance with Fireball, because actually the first nuance was the destroyed by freeze part of it, and specifically there's a unit called Comet. I need to replace a smaller unit, alright. And what an enemy Comet can do is like, it just kills 3 fireballs, and it's a value 7 piece, so it's like a 3 for 1 in terms of units, and -2 for you in terms of value, because they paid 7 while you lose 9. And it should be really obvious that this gaping hole in the board is just, like, terrible for you. This is, of course, not the only unit with freeze, but the Comet is the one with the most painful interaction with it, and it was obviously so stupidly nuanced, because not everyone is playing Comet, and then Spugmon had the gall to go add Thunder Mage, which is even more disgusting against Fireball. So that's why, as fun as it is, people don't tend to use Fireball spam anymore. There's a unit called Apprentice, which is a minion type piece, which has, you know, it also has swap, but is, of course, less attack than the champion. And some people have, like, thought about using, like, what if you use the cheap unit, like the Apprentice Plus, so that even if it does die to Thunder, you're not that annoyed by it? Because, effectively, if your opponent Thunders your Fireball, you have to waste not 1 turn, but 2 turns to get the unit you just swapped out of the Thunder mark. I think another classic meme with Wizard Soulkeeper is that if the units are in range 2, there's always an ability to swap between them. Like, because the Wizard and the Soulkeeper have completely complementary movesets for swapping at anything in range 2. I have to imagine this is intentional, like this whole swap army thing, because all of the pieces, like, these are all arcane, which you can get from the theme box in the shop. It's just like, it's very sad the Spaghetti Monster made this army unplayable. So either you can take this army and, like, use a lot less Fireball to prevent the downside by getting hit by one of those nuanced units, or you can use units with ability target, and these are units that can teleport other units. So stuff like Portal, Beacon, Summoner, Nexus. So for example, I have this Portal and Fireball, and you can see that if I put it in this location, this Portal can now send the Fireball in any one of these places, which is, like, interesting that the opponent will have to deal with so many threats, although a lot of those threats are actually kind of hitting the same locations. For example, like, those pieces would be both forked by here, or here, so it's not as efficient maybe as it might look. And it's also dedicating a piece on a non-minion effectively, because this portal can't do anything, and if you use the portal, then you would want to refill it, but then it takes forever to, like, get another piece in the portal. And honestly, there's just a persistent problem with the other porters that the setup is obviously telegraphed, and it takes a long time in terms of turns in order to get into a position where the ability to teleport another unit could be helpful, and Fireball is actually just, like, not the best for these units. All except for Nexus, which is the thing that does, in fact, combo with Fireball well. So we don't talk about base Nexus, but the rest of the Nexus tiers are, in fact, good enough for Fireball. It's quite ridiculous, but we're going to be doing the Nexus++, like, army playing first, because the lower tiers of Nexus have, like, holes in the moveset that make it more difficult to showcase. Now, honestly, the location of the King in a Nexus build is kind of weird, because the Nexus actually kind of serves mildly okay in defense, but then you're missing out on the minion that might protect you there. Still, we're just gonna run some various things. I think a Wizard is still actually good in here because it has some anti-armor capabilities, and it's good to still have swap. Also put these in here. Now, I don't know whether to put a Phoenix in the build, because it's very well known that Phoenix Nexus is a thing, because the Nexus can teleport the egg that the Phoenix creates to make it revive, but it's kind of expensive and then turns this build into a Phoenix Nexus build effectively, and that kind of derails the purpose of the video. I don't know, let's just put in like a Demon++, it has some swap as well. I don't know, let's become an NV tuber. Okay, this army looks like a joke, but let's run it. Oh god. So apparently, nice other private account using all red pieces. So opponent's using Fire Mage, that's also going to be a pain, because that could also hit this, which is immobile. And yes, we do have swappers on purpose to try to deal with that, but we may not succeed. So The opponent is running a bunch of minions that are cheaper than our fireballs. Of course, they will be trying to put that nearby, to be annoying. So we're going to put in the Phoenix, get it closer, and hopefully zone out some of these minions because... Oh my god. See, now there's a threat of a Fire Mage hitting here, which is immobile, which is the constant problem. If you're running multiple Nexuses, this can actually be dealt with slightly better, but it's just going to get hit. And we just have to accept it. So here, like, this is another reason why you, like, as good as Firewall is in terms of board control, it really does have a problem with lacking tradable minions. Oh, of course. So we teleport this in here. If we're extremely lucky, we could attempt to get some minion combos for free. Like, for example, that minion is not actually defended. The only defender is this Angel, which is value 24, and Phoenix has a retaliation ability of destroy the attacker, so you're going to need to deal with this. Now, whether I can successfully get a 2-for-1 is up for question here. Seems like a thing I wouldn't succeed in doing, but I do want to see, like, this. Nexus is going to get pulled to the top right, though, which is extremely bad. But it was also something that was going to happen anyway. I could have had Phoenix to block. Okay, it's going to move with detriment to me. So this egg is going to revive in 6 turns. Unfortunately, like, this isn't far enough. Like, what I need to do here is try to stall out. Okay, that moves. So I'm gonna try to pull an Envy in this position. I probably do this. There we go. So now these are mutually defended, so, like, we're not getting 2-for-1 in there, and I can hit this. Although, that was not, like, the best, because the Frost Effect can fork, potentially. Well, I can pull it with Nexus, so I guess that's okay-ish. Thing is, what I'm doing here is very vulnerable to Mephits. And, okay, so it traded away the Nexus for that. Now there's a fork potential, which I can, in fact, Fireball to try to deal with. Yep. So it's also kind of funny that, like, it's only a -1 for me. Now I need to get these out, though. These are very stuck. I think I won overall in that. Since the opponent's Fire Mage costed 10 value, and it took my Nexus, which was 6. However, of course, I lose a large amount of my Fireball mobility here. Okay, it moved Archer here. It's trying to do something annoying like here, I don't know. Or, like, move back. We want to get the Wizard here or something so that I can swap with the Envying back. Okay. There's a fork that I am preparing with this move, hopefully. Although, it might get destroyed, I don't know. This is reviving next turn. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Okay, so maybe this... I don't see the issue with doing this move. It's also targeting the Angel here. So the Alchemist could have some, like, jumps, but, like, a lot of these jumps are okay for me. Yeah, I feel like I'm winning hard now. That fork is insane, and, like, it really shows the power of this freaking piece. It's time to say chess battle advanced in chat. Probably later I want to get this out as well. Okay, it swaps, which means I can just take this. Okay, and takes this piece, which does gain some value on their end, but doesn't matter to me. And probably the area around here is about the weakest, as well as this, which doesn't have anything going on in it. And, like, anything that hits my Wizard, I can swap with a Fireball or Envy, so it's like, this is so strong for me. Even taking this is not that bad for me, but maybe I could do even better. Oh, but if I move this away, the Archer could then, like, annoy one of my Fireball positions. No, I think I take it, right? No, because then I lose my swapper. My only swapper. Well, basically my only swapper. Okay, let's, like, do something, like, that looks a little passive like that, but I really don't want my Archer to be trading... the enemy's Archer to be trading for a Fireball here. Okay, it moves here, intentionally trying to annoy this location as well. Probably Drake here? Blocks the Archer's movement square. Okay, it hits that, and, like, okay, so a lot of my Fireballs are going to be displaced because of this move. I probably don't overthink it, just swap with it right now. Okay, Fencer moves, although a lot of my things are armor-piercing, so it's not something I feel overly concerned about. I can do this, hoping to swap again with a potential Fireball hit. Okay, moves here, trying to hit this. I think, like, there's some squares down here that are a worry now. Okay, let's do this. That does open it, but it was already open. And I am defending this square with the demon, although it is, like, it's a little bit worrying, this situation, because the Fencer really should not be doing any infiltrations right now. Yep, okay. So what now? Do I do this? Okay, and it moves all the way back. Really tempted to swap Phoenix here. But maybe I don't. Okay, I don't have the time. Kind of annoying because this fire mage thing is like honestly kind of concerning, but I don't think my opponent has real threats. But if I did have a way to lose, it would be losing by missing some threat that was like that this fire mage caused. Anyway, let's go here and swap. So this hits with envy, also hitting this thing, which I don't know what to think about that. Is that even good for me? Like, it's worse than fireballs are in the edge, of course. Do want to fix that. Okay, Fencer moves back. Like, this princess is blocking the greed motion, so I think we just move envy closer. So it threatens this and does a lot of zoning, of course. Okay, that also is forced to move back. Okay, so I don't know what to do. I think I need to swap some fireballs into position. Okay, that moves out of the way, bothering this piece. But wait, that means I can put Drake in a really annoying spot here. So that's almost trapping it. I mean, what, is Princess gonna move back? That's terrible. There is now more of a hole here, though. Okay. Retakes, so... Okay. We have to be worried because now there's a big hole in the position, even though my morale is significantly higher than the opponent's right now, but I have to be really worried about infiltrations. Like, this square is already empty, and maybe I want to swap this fireball back into a more central spot. Check. Do I move up there or there? I think just down here. Okay, that shouldn't be a deal, right? Big deal right now. Swap there. What the? That's in range. When the battle is advanced. Play the victory sound right now. Okay, so you're attempting to hit my squares in here with teleports, so I'll need absolutely required that I do this. So that these squares have anti-armor. Oh, you want to promote, huh? There's some things I don't have time to consider. Let's just, like, do that. Hit the fencer. Who's there? This is not defended anymore, but this is a little bit of a weak point. This is kind of blocking, though. All right, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna do here trying to go in this empty spot, but that's not very, it's not a very active move. Okay, yep. Expected that check. So, you know, I don't really see how my opponent's gonna do anything that good here. Unfortunately, I don't have good checks, which is very, very annoying. This should be an easy win, but there are, like, paranoids here. Like, if I can downtrade, I probably do. Swap? I would say probably downtrade and then I don't, but... Yes, I don't have any better ideas. Right, let's drag this closer to the center. So now my Phoenix no longer has to worry about babysitting King Infiltration. Archer moves back. So here I can do this because my opponent's morale is so low that you can't take this trade. Swaps. Okay, so this is the square I would need to be worried about. Wait, never mind. We have a fork that wins the game. There we go. And boom. That princess had, like, the negative morale. So here's a great game between Ao and Doku. Someone successfully Poku's the Doku.
Take game.
So we're using the Nexus++, which, compared to +++, it costs 2 less, but it can no longer teleport some of these squares. Like, there's more gaps in the teleport range, so it can do that, but it can't do that. That's why this is a double Nexus army, because the fact that all of the teleports are on the same color allows for some synergy, because this Nexus can teleport all the pieces that the other one cannot, and it can even teleport itself. And we're just combining that with fireballs, some Phoenix for defense, not upgraded Phoenix, so this is actually more budget than the previous thing that I played. So, Phoenix moves out. The Phoenix does not have any major need for defense at this moment because the opponent isn't running a lot of long range or pressure. So, however, this duelist could get in the way. So, the duelist is poked a little bit. And that is a thing that the Nexus can do. So the Nexus, not only can it put units in range, but it can teleport units that are on the ability target into a square. Let's go back. So that Nexus can put that fireball in any of these targeted spots. And this is like what makes Nexus special compared to other teleporting type pieces. So there are classic fireball problems that would be saved by, you know, if this unit, this army had a summoning unit. But the Snake, what it's planning to do is do this, fork 2 fireballs, and then there would need to be a defender on the square. But anyway, first we do that teleport, and we hit that Haunted Arm, which is value 8, so that needs to be dealt with immediately. And then it sacrifices that to open up this queen line. This enemy gets teleported in order to annoy the wizard. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. It's Black's turn. And like White's own Haunted Armor, Envy, and Fireball combo together in that they all benefit strongly from teleports. So we have One going here. That teleports back into here. Also hitting that haunted armor, so it needs to move. Phoenix teleports, but it gets ignored. So the snake can be a bit more annoying, but the armor is knocked off the haunted armor. And you can see that this is what the freaking Phoenix Nexus does. The Nexus can teleport the egg that leaves behind, so the revive is extremely safe. But unfortunately, this means that the snake does, in fact, manage to get something. Queen is safe taking it, though. Now, this armor moves up. This, once again, has combos with Nexus because it can teleport into a position where it might be defended. If it was another... It's not safe right now, though, because this Legionary sees it in range 2. But now it's safe because that is blocked. And now that teleport can make it. So that's a big uptrade for the Haunted Armor. Snake is once again annoying. In this case, that Duelist is also dead, so that's like a 2-for-1 trade, but still not great that the Snake allowed that. Some meme stuff happens with the Queen. Note that Black is still in morale lead right now due to all the Gemini twins, which gain extra value. Haunted Armor Teleport cause what's effectively a fork. That could also be uptraded for this Necromancer. So part of this Nexus joke is that the opponent has to calculate all the possible teleports every turn, which makes it more annoying for the opponent. Here, White's unfortunately forced to lose some pieces, and it kind of looks like maybe White is going to struggle on defense, since all White's value is concentrated in Queen++, but White is actually totally fine. Biggest threat right here is that White loses this Fireball, and then Wizard here is a checkmate, so really it's really close to a check because Nexus can teleport it out. But even though this is a thing, like, it looks so threatening, but Nexus is, like, ridiculous in how much it does, so it can annoy that Drake. The Phoenix's egg is about to revive back into the Phoenix, so that's why it gets teleported back here. And now, this is when Doku Rage quits. The Phoenix is about to get a free piece, or like a 2-for-1, or even a 3-for-1. And Black still has to be careful to avoid king checks and whatever. So that's why Doku Rage quit. So I guess now it's time to talk about Nexus Plus. So compared to Nexus++, it's missing the Knight teleports, so it loses Phoenix synergy, basically, but it still has 5 teleport squares from where it starts. That's also why no one wants to use Nexus 0, because it only has 2 teleports. And so, what if you aligned all of them with fireballs? So, you could fire a fireball here, here, but this is the closest the fireball will ever feel to being flavorful in that, like, you know, usually fireballs don't last forever and they move. This guy's army caused the inventor of New Chess Battle Advanced to be annoyed and rage about how untradeable the army is. How the hell are you supposed to break through this garbage? Now this match goes on for unbelievably long, and of course you'll notice this Temperance could hit the Soul Keeper, that's value 11, but it has pay 1 magic transform enemy into allied ghost, so if it did do that, it would get transformed. Similarly, if a skeleton wanted to take this fireball, even though it's a huge uptrade, like this is a summoned skeleton, and just taking this unit, but it will turn into a ghost, and that's like a kill deterrent that is really synergistic. Like, one of Fireball's weaknesses is that some cheap minions can go annoy it because of its vanishes after attacking passive, and having a kill deterrent makes those no longer profitable trades for the player doing it. Now, does Black run a good army? Not even sure you could say that because the match takes really long and there's not quite an end game that's good for Black. And Black eventually does lose, but it sure takes forever due to the stalliness of it. Here I've made an army that uses the Nexus Plus with the fireballs all in position. Also, what I think is the best unit that can be back teleported. This could probably go here. Anyway, this should probably be good as, you know, a budget army that someone could make compared to the previous armies in this video. Also, I'm playing against a Chinese hacker right now who is known, despite cheating 1,500 rating, still desyncs and cheats to win matches. I wonder how the actual players of this game feel about this freaking guy. Fantastic gameplay, man. Oh my god, I just checked the Someone is mad at the Chinese hacker. Man, this freaking game can't avoid drama, I swear to god. And we've matched with another notorious desync freaking cheater, man. This sounds ridiculous to say, but there's actually too much content for the next stupid drum. I don't even want to make it though, because like it apparently attracts too many 4 IQs to join the server. But there's way too much content about it already that I could make, like the blue name uproar, the SSP videos, the army ransom meme, the gray name uproar. All right, found a match. Someone pinged me to try to make this guy look more ridiculous, but I already recorded the footage demo. Alright, to save myself from 4 minutes of waiting, I actually hacked the hacker back. Alright, can we have a real match? Okay, so, that's hitting my undefended piece, because of course it is. So you need to move this out immediately to prevent it. Okay, so this poison mage, I want to get it out very, very soon, because this thing does not do that well in endgame. Okay, duelist moves. Now it is useful that the fire... Oh, shoot. I might have a problem here, honestly. It could, like, maybe find a way to infiltrate down here. That would be, like, super annoying. And speaking of annoying, this freaking duelist is poke-hooing the freaking game, which is as expected. It's moving here. I want to block that potential promotion. And moves back. What amazing gameplay that was. We're gonna get a Haunted Armor here. I didn't mention this earlier, but like the sad part of having only one Nexus is that you can't, like right now it can't threaten Fireball, of course, because the Haunted Armor is occupying the space, and you get to do more of that multi-threat stuff if you have only, if you have 2 Nexus. If my opponent fails it, we can get a 3-for-1. So here I'm threatening the stamp. Yep, we take that 3-for-1 always. So the mercenary changes teams on kill, and I just poison that samurai, so that is a 3-for-1. Very clean. Let's bring that Drake. That also opens up this diagonal and this for Mage Tower. This Ranger's position has a high chance to be a bad idea for them. Here we don't have the best moves. I guess we'll do this. Maybe I shouldn't have. I mean, it opens up more holes here, but allows this Fencer to go, because that has quite a lot of diagonal movement. Okay, so Ranger moves away. I kind of expect it to move away, but if it moved closer, the Haunted Armor could go in and hit the Ranger, which would be very, very good for me. Now, this Ranger is threatening to range destroy this, which is a free kill for them. So I should probably just move this out of the way. It also zones out some of the duelist squares, which should be good. But now Ranger will probably be an annoying Poku. This moves instead. I don't have that many good moves here. Not anything that's, like, notably threatening. We would want to hit that Ranger. Could move the Legionary, but, like, that... Whatever. There's some things I don't like about either move, but we're just gonna do this here. Okay, that moves in front. If we want to trade those, probably. Trading Mercenary for Mercenary seems good. Then, like, it's more open for my Haunted Armor, potentially. Oh, the Samurai is kind of annoying. Okay, so with this, the Samurai auto-attack allows it to get closer in position, and more importantly, allows this teleport to work, be enabled. Okay, so that's why the opponent would put this demon here. So do I take that event? Like, do I take this because maybe the Haunted Armor could come in? Haunted Armor trying to go for this would be very strong. However, even stronger is if I had Fireballs lined up on some of these, because this is a situation where Fireballs would be very good because, like, there's tons of openings, minions are not in the center to defend against it. I really don't know. Like, this is a paradox of choice here. You know, I probably just do this. There's a Drake threat now, probably. Okay, so that is something I was... Like, that's funny, right? Because that's a 10 value piece that there's actually a down trade for them to take. And I expected them to take it, like, potentially, just because of how threatening the Haunted Armor could be in that spot. This is defended by a Fireball. Okay, another hit on that. Unfortunately, I can't quite do this, because, like, the armor is not diagonal. I probably just, like, continue with this plan of, like, here, and then grab a Fireball, because we can finally do so now. Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of sad, and I might be down trading there, but let's get the Fireball in play. At least the trades I don't need to worry about. Promoter nonsense. Now, do I move the Legionary up too, even though there's a cheap king check here? I think that's okay. Yeah, we'll do it. If this bites me, like the fact that there's a queen check, then whatever. Okay, it moves. That's not a thing that's, like, all that threatening, and I still have this move? Right, don't I just have this move? Yep, that's the Fireball Nexus. Classic. Please check me for no reason. That would be fun. So, I mean... Kind of, like... It's annoying how much these bottom right pieces haven't really been doing much. Okay, so it does that, of course, so it just traded a 10 for a 3. Oh, classic queen check. Also, if you don't move your queen out of the way, it's gonna get trapped. Chess. Okay. Huh. Alright, so just make sure there's nothing that's really threatening there. Now, this frostbuff is undefended, but it's not actually undefended. I want to get greedy. Like, I could no, I don't think so. Let's just do this. Like, the greed would be trying to move this angel out of the way. Clearly that angel wasn't doing much, so that was just good for me. And now we can try to think about if we can get rid of that ranger. And we still have the fireball. Also, angel on death enchants all your minions for 1 turn. So there's some synergy there. Unfortunately, it's not really synergy that like we saw getting used in this, but it's a thing that you could watch out for. Alright, now it moves. This means there's no more defenders on this square. It was previously defended by range destroy, and now it is not. Okay, that moves away. Are there any... No, I don't think there's a fireball move here. However, there is this. So the queen's long range diagonal hits that, and also this. Seems like it's great. It moves out. Okay, that's... Now I have this move, right? It's not as good as I thought. It'll be trading 2 for 1 if I do this, and like that's slightly value up, but it's not good enough. I probably just want more Drake-likes to be annoying. Mage Tower isn't quite doing... Okay, so that's like the expected move as well. Want to be annoying to the wizard, so make a hit with that. It moves here. I'll use my Legionary to defend this, as well as hit the wizard, which is 5 value more. Wow, that's 7 value to take that. That's not even good. Alright, I guess I go here. The ranger, you're completely out of play. Can I zone the ranger? That'd be so funny. There's nowhere to go. Okay, he moves there. Also trying to push this legionary out. Hit the ranger while defending this square. It'll probably down trade or something with this Drake. Yep. Although, to be fair, the ranger is also completely undefended. Is the ranger completely zoned afterwards still? Yeah, looks like it. Its best move is to go in the fireball. I CBA. Goodbye. Anyway, I bet people are going to complain I didn't put fireball plus plus or plus plus in the video, even though they're lackluster. Here's the spaghetti monster trying to convince you to play this crap. Well, anyway, watch some other guy who is trying to use fireball plus plus. It's also using gravity mage, which is a thing that can... It's hard to describe, isn't it? But it can pull units in range 2 closer to the target, so if you select this square, then the things that are range 2 away from it get pulled into it. And that's another way that you could move the fireballs effectively. And so these can teleport from starting position, of course. Note that if they somehow land back in it, they can teleport in again. Anyway, I don't think the fireballs went that bad in this match. In fact, like, even though white loses, I'll just say white loses right now, I think the fireballs actually did okay. So, like, here the fireball is supporting this and anchoring the butterfly so it doesn't get just killed by the queen. Long range checks all around, checks battle advanced. And you can see that the fireballs are in the C and F positions as well. So, like, the hard part is that this isn't that... Here's the fireball move, but it's hard to exactly showcase that this match, and how this match is getting affected by the fireball. Like, I think around this, you actually get to see that the fireball is exerting a lot of pressure on here. Like, none of the freaking enemies can really go in the space the fireball is controlling, because it only costs 5, while the others cost 9. There's going to be another fireball jump coming up soonish. It's just the problem with showcasing matches that are supposed to be about fireball, because there's this queenside infiltration. And there's the fireball jump. Another fun thing about the fireball jumps is that you can see, like, they kind of jump the same way, so they have the same, like area control that they did in their starting square, because they jump the same way. But, like, white just doesn't have the pieces to actually capitalize on the gained board control well. Of course, white is also glad that black doesn't have any minions that can try to trade for those. Anyway, as I said, white does manage to lose the game, despite all the fireball swaps. One last thing, I think I forgot to mention this. The fireball, remember when I compared it to Spearman plus plus, because they're the same attack range, where the Spearman can actually move and it doesn't die on vanishing, which also makes it cost a lot more? Well, the same is true for Fireball Plus and another thing called Pikeman plus plus plus, which also doesn't have the best moves of its own. Like, some armies actually do combine the two, because, like, you see that they still have a shared attack range, because they're, of course, the same in attack range. But the pikeman costs 3 more. That's not 3 more, that's 5 more. Anyway, to wrap this up, I like Fireball, even though it's such a nuanced piece. I think it's just like an awesome army building fantasy because it's like, it's immobile, so you need to find ways to synergize and have a lot of things that don't make it immobile, and then when you do, it feels like you're getting a huge good deal because of how good the attack range is that you're getting. And to me, it's like a surprise that doesn't have more than 50% win rate, but like, it is sort of a noob-coded unit because it's in one of the earliest theme boxes, and it also feels really stupid if a comet deletes all your fireballs. Goodbye.